All right, I know you've missed us, but welcome to another edition of Buc What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Super Heavyweight, and you follow me, and I'll follow you back. I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues, Mark and Michael from Real Bucs Talk. Mark, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. It's glad to be back, Gene. Glad you're back safe. Not a happy Bucks fan, but still looking forward, just looking for more growth. But you can only get better, right? 2 losses in a row, but let's see what we can do. 3 losses in a row. Forgive me.
Yeah. There has to be some change. We'll get into that. Yeah. Michael Plus, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Oh, I'm good. How about you?
No complaints here, man. I'm just glad to be alive.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, losing sucks, but I think this team is we're still heading in the right direction. I think we're going to just continue to get better. Still have a lot of areas to improve on, but the last 3 weeks have been tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's jump right in. We're I'm gonna rewind a little bit, and I'm not gonna dwell on a whole lot because we can talk about this last game versus the Denver Donkeys, and we'll get into that. But I want to go back to the game where I left off. The Arizona Cardinals just basically washed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I finally got to watch that game, and I must say that I don't even know where to start, to be honest. The decision making was kind of concerning because I think when we go back to what we thought of in Michael, I think me and you had both posted about what we thought were the keys to winning the game. And one of them was, not trying to throw on Patrick Peterson. And another thing was trying to avoid the costly turnovers. And another thing was, trying to make sure that you contain Carson Palmer. And none of those things were done, really. So, I guess that's kind of what started the direction that the Bucs are going. And, to me, to be very honest, it's growing pains. It really is. I know we've lost some players, but when you have somebody like a Jameis Winston, who's a true talent, Jameis Winston's got to do what he did versus Atlanta and can take what the defense gives you. He can't just, go all out there and put this team in a position where the defense is, put in a position where they need to get somebody off the field. But when you're playing on a short field, it's just not possible to do that. Especially with the defense being the way it was, and we're trying to improve that. You just didn't. You can't do that. You can't turn the ball over, and you have to give your offense a chance to succeed. You have to give your offense a chance to get the running game going. And if you make a short pass, at least you're moving up the field. You're progressing up the field. But just some of the decision making was just kind of suspect.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree completely. I mean, you have 10 turnovers in the last games alone. You just can't have that, especially for an offense that needs to be moving the ball and needs to be scoring points, especially when you have a defense that is at times suspect. You got to be able to score, 24 points in this league to give yourself a chance to win most Sundays, especially with the way the game's played. And if you're just turning the ball over and giving, these offenses short fields, I mean, they're going to score pretty much. I mean, it's too hard to hold them to field goals every time, especially when they're that close of range. And then back what you were saying about the Cardinals game. I mean, you have those turnovers in the first half. It just kind of sets you up. You were pretty much put out of the game before the game even started. The same thing with this last game against the Broncos. I mean, you put yourself down in a hole to start off, and then, we tie it up, but then, you throw another costly turnover, and they score right away. So just putting yourself in holes that, you just can't do, especially in this league.
Yeah, most definitely. Mark, your thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm the biggest Winston supporter there is. Possibly the biggest one, but I mean, a lot of my problems have been with Winston. Yes, he is a rookie. I know he's going to find his way through it as he did last year. He's one of those that gets better with time. But this offense is dictated on his decisions. A majority of the decisions he's been making haven't been good. They haven't been the right decisions. Like, he doesn't need to hit the home run on every play. You beat the team by consistently over play after play after play, beating them, making the right decision. There's always going to be a mismatch you need to hit. There's always going to be someone that's slightly open. Not everyone can have a lockdown on every down and every play of the game. And it's like he's pushing deep when he should be looking, okay, let's do the 5 yards, let's do the 8 yards. We don't have to hit the 30, 40-yard bomb every time. And like there was a play I posted about in the Denver game where he hit Evans a 50-yard bomb. It hit Evans in the hands, yeah, but he still had 2 guys on him. But Vincent Jackson's wide open coming across around the 20-yard line. If he catches that, he could probably walk in almost. But and he misses Brate too. Brate's a hell of a pass catcher, not a great blocker, which I've obviously been throwing in our Twitter feeds. But he is one hell of a catcher, and he's an asset to be used. And he just has this love affair with Evans that he needs to calm down and look at other people because everyone's knocking Vincent Jackson. He's getting open. He's doing his same things he's always been doing, but he's not getting opportunities. Like when he gets the ball, he gets the ball. Yes, he's been known to drop a couple passes. We've all seen that over the 4 years he's been here. This is his 5th, but come on, like give him his opportunities. He's a lead dog. That's how he is as a wide receiver. Give him his reps. He's going to start making some plays. You can't just
got to get him more.
Yeah, you got to. He's not one of these speedsters. You're going to see him break away. You need to give him a chance to jump ball. Glennon did it. Why can't Winston do it? I mean, a lot of the rap I have or bad talk is about Winston, but either way, I'm still his biggest supporter. Like, people think that we're bashing him thinking like he's a piece of trash. No. He's the one that's going to get us out of the trash.
Right. And this is the thing about Jameis Winston. This is the guy that's going to lead us somewhere. And Tampa goes how Winston goes.
Yep.
And I don't care how good the defense is. You can put that to the side. Winston is what drives his team. And he's the heart and soul of this team. And he's the guy, if he's down, it's going to be really hard to win games. So what I'm really thinking here is that Winston needs to go back and look at what he did in Atlanta and just take what the defense gives you. If it's a little bit of underneath, if it's a little bit of dink and dunk, as long as you're moving down the field, as long as you're keeping the defense on the field and wearing them down, it's going to work out for you. Hopefully we get Doug Martin back. That was another thing that I saw is the running game was very non-existent. And I believe that Doug Martin is another playmaker that they just, they don't have him, and it's kind of hurting this offense as well. It's one of the key components that's not the same from last year. So it'll be important to get him back and get him in the fold and get him going again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as far as Doug Martin goes, I mean, I've said it numerous times. I think I've said it on your podcast, Gene. I mean, Doug Martin is our best offensive player. He was last year, and I think him being missed, him being out for the last 3 games has really hurt us. Just from his threat on the field, I mean, he brings the safeties up. It opens up the passing game as far as him just being on the field. So that's a big boost to Jameis and his game. Ability is so much different than a Charles Sims. And unfortunately, I'm kind of disappointed in how Cutter has used Sims and trying to use him the same way that they used Martin. I thought they could have done a little bit more as far as doing a little bit more runs out of passing formations where they spread it out, run him out of shotgun where he's more in space, kind of like what he did in college when he was with Houston, where you get those zone read runs where he's much better, where he can make that one guy miss and then break away. So I think that was I thought that could have been implemented. I'm right there with you. I remember when he was at West Virginia and just what he was able to do, catching the ball out of the backfield like a Matt Forte. Mm-hmm. And he was able to make those big plays. And I think that he just hasn't been used to his strength.
And that's one of the things that I didn't get to mention that, but that's another thing that I saw with Charles Sims over the past few weeks since Doug Martin has been out, is he's not being utilized like he should be. Speed and space, I know we heard that term during the Lovie Smith era, but there's a lot of credence to that because we've seen where Charles Sims has been able to catch the ball out of the backfield and make some huge plays. So I think, wasn't he like the number 2 receiver last season? Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think Charles Sims was our second leading receiver. So a lot of talent there, and I don't like, he's too small to be running him between the gaps like that. You have to get him out in space to where he can build up speed and make people miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, jump on Martin. Yeah, I mean, again, Martin is pretty much the key to the offense, and especially when we're facing these man defenses like we've been facing the last couple of weeks, it just allows us, if we can get that play action going, it allows our big receivers to get more separation. And unfortunately, without the running game, it's caused us, where we're not winning every time as far as our man coverage. We're not winning our routes per se, and that was one of the problems last game where we just weren't winning. And unfortunately, Winston had to throw some balls that he wished he probably could have had back.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Mark, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I wanted to add a couple things about like the Doug Martin, Charles Sims situation. I was just on the 620 WDAE on Tampa Sports Radio, and they made actually a really good point. So, yeah, Doug Martin, he may be this huge part of our offense. I agree. He's paid like it too, but he was number 2 in rushing last year. Who was number 1? It was Adrian Peterson. He's hurt. He's not playing. What are the Vikings right now? 4-0? So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the one running back that's back there. It's the team organizing to make the play work together. I mean, Adrian Peterson is one hell of a man. He's an athlete, freak. He's going to run you over. But still, the Vikings are running the ball. They have Sam Bradford, who's been there 5 weeks now. He got there in the last week of the preseason, and they're 4-0. I mean, the majority of it's their defense, but they're still running the ball. It's not like they stopped running the ball, and they're running successfully. So is it because McKinnon or whoever's back there is just like Andrew Peterson? Hell no. It's because they're using them correctly, and they're getting them what they're best at. I mean, that's one thing that I think – I don't know if it's Cutter not using guys correctly, which I believe in Cutter. I mean, he says the right stuff, but is he using them correctly? Because, like, the majority of the things also with Winston, like throwing these passes, attacking wrong guys, like, I don't know what – we spoke about it how many times. Don't attack Peterson. They do it. Don't attack Trufant the first game. They still did it. Look what happened. That's where he got his interception. And then all of a sudden, they go after the other cornerback, send Evans to the other side. Let's see what happens. He starts throwing 40-yard bombs for touchdowns. I mean, I don't know if it's Winston's love affair with Evans just throwing to him no matter what, or if it's Cutter not noticing, let me just send him over to the easier opponent, weakness, and throw it over there.
And we look at Jameis Winston, and we see how advanced he is in some plays. He's got a great football mind. I'm thinking, and listening to some of his interviews and press conferences, this guy says, he's a man, I'm a man, I'm going to try to beat you. And I'm sorry, that's not how it works, man. You're a team. Football teams win as a team, they lose as a team. And in my opinion, if you've got a guy like Charles Sims wide open, a Cameron Brate wide open, a Vincent Jackson wide open, why aren't you exploiting those things? You're wanting to beat that team. You're not wanting to beat that defensive back. You know what I'm saying? And what's frustrating for me is that Jameis Winston is not going through his progressions at times. And as I said this is probably my 4th time saying this, he's not taking what the defense is giving him.
100%. I mean, I couldn't agree anymore. The first pick against the Broncos, I don't know what the hell he was reading. I mean, Vincent Jackson's going across. If he throws it immediately when he sees him, it's open. He had to wait for Jackson to go by to try and hit Humphreys, who's double teamed. And like Aqib Talib and Chris Harris said it themselves, like they knew Winston was going to force the ball. They knew he was going to look one area and try and beat him no matter what because he's trusting his arm. He's still young. He's going to start learning. I mean, we all know he's cerebral. He knows the plays. He knows what he has to do. It's him trusting his arm a little too much. He's still thinking he's 4 safe versus what? NC State, or worse than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or somebody.
He has a hell of an arm, but still, this is the pros. 30 yards down the field with a 4-4 cornerback running across. I mean, you don't have much time for error. And I did watch the second interception.
And personally, if I'm Jameis Winston and I see Patrick Peterson over here, I'm looking over here. I'm looking down here. I'm looking to check down. I'll check down that whole game. I'm not giving that guy a pick. I'm not helping to pad his stats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because, I agree with his thing that he's not going to back down from no one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he shouldn't.
That's cool, but there are other players on the field, though.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's when you abuse the other side, and when the second you see him, he starts to let up a little bit, that's when you start attacking that main player that you know is that good. It's all chess. I wrote it earlier, on Twitter. It's a chess game. This isn't a home run derby. You got to be able to beat them little by little. And at the end of the game, that's when you officially beat them. That's when you take their king. You don't just beat them on one play. You have to slowly beat them down the field. That second drive he had after the interception, beautiful. I think it was 13 or 14 plays, 10, little chunks. They even were running the ball. I don't care if it's 1 to 3 yards. You're running the ball. You're keeping the defense on it.
You're progressing the ball down the field.
And that's literally, you got to do it. It doesn't matter if it's 3 yards. Everyone's getting mad. They're only getting 1 to 3 yards. You need to do it because later in the game, those 1 or 3 yards turn into 5 to 8 yards. If you stop doing that, that's what we've been doing too. Just because we get down late. But still, run the damn ball. You're going to get bigger chunks. They're thinking you're going to throw over the top. Keep running. I can't stand how they keep stopping it.
Right.
And you're slowly wearing down the defense throughout the game. This is 4 quarters. So if you're continually getting passes underneath, hitting the holes in the zone, finding the open man, those kind of things where you're continually keeping your offense on the field, keeping that defense on the field as well and wearing them down, that's only going to benefit you as the game wears on. Now, what I'd like to talk about next is a subject that's kind of sore for me right now, and that's the defense. We'll get to the coaching here later on, but I do want to talk about the defense right now. I was a little bit disappointed with the defense. Maybe I'm expecting a little bit too much out of the defense, but I really feel like Tampa has the talent to be a dominant defense. They do. When everybody's healthy, I really feel like this Buccaneers team can go up against any offense. And I stand by that. But with all the injuries and all the things that I've seen recently, you have to question that.
Mike, I'll let you go first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, where to start?
Safety.
I think the biggest key is, we'll save that for last. The biggest key, I think, is Jack Hugh Smith. I think once we lost Jack Smith, I think that really put a damper into our defense just because of his ability to pass rush. And then the next week you lose Robert Ayers, who I thought was going to be he was a big piece of this defense where he could play defensive tackle, play D end. Exactly. And really thought, Noah Spence was going to burst onto the scene, but unfortunately he's just not ready and he's not getting the snaps because he's just not a great run defender yet. He's a little bit too small, which is why they're playing, Devontae Lambert and Will Golston more just because of their run defense. And I got to say, Will Golston had a hell of a game this past week. I thought he was one of our best players. But, overall, defensively, it's just been little things here and there where it's miscommunication. One guy's breaking down, and then a big play happens. They show in spurts where they're doing very well as far as staying in their gaps, they make good plays, and they have, a good series. And then the next series they give up, then it's a touchdown. So it's just little breakdowns that they're having that are costing them, especially the last couple of games. I think the talent is there. I agree with Eugene. I think they have the pieces in place where they need them. Fortunately, they're still learning as a defense, and it's going to take time.
And
the safety position.
I want to jump in here real quick before you move on to the safety position.
Yeah.
You'll have to keep in mind, you only see this every so often, but this is a new defensive coordinator. This is probably the fifth defensive coordinator for Gerald McCoy, and some of the other players have seen different defensive coordinators come in and out of this into this organization, and it's just going to take consistency. And I think that a lot of fans, I'm sorry, fans, you may not like this, but Tampa has to stay married to this coordinator, the head coach, this coaching staff as a whole. In order to improve, in order to be consistently better, you have to stick with what you have. You're talking about, 5 head coaches since the Super Bowl, 3 general managers. That's, how much player turnover that is. That is ridiculous. There is no way that a team can have any kind of success with that kind of resume. It isn't. So, you know what? I was upset at first when they got rid of Lovey. We moved on from that. Here we are right now. And I promise you, if I hear anybody say fire this coach, they will get an earful from me. Because we need to stop. It needs to stop. The coaching carousel, unplug the coaching carousel, take the batteries out or whatever you need to do, take the seats out, because we don't need any more of a coaching carousel. We need to stick with a organization and a administration and let it work. Let them get all their pieces in place. Let them build up their foundation here. Let them get players in to see what a coach is really, truly capable of doing. You look at Jeff Fisher and what Jeff Fisher's been able to do finally after 35 years. He's finally got his team on the right track. You look at what Ron Rivera did. You look at Bill Belichick. You look at the coach for the Seattle Seahawks. I can't. Pete Carroll. All these.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin. All these guys. Marvin Lewis. All these guys have been in place for a long period of time, and they've been able to build up to what they have now. So you don't have all that player turnover. So all I'm saying is, fans, if you're watching the show, don't even get it in your mind to fire this coach. Don't even get it in your mind to fire this GM, because we're going to be right back where we are right now in a couple of years if you do that. You have to let this build up. But go ahead, and I'll let you go back to what you're talking about with safety.
I mean, what I was going to say is, a lot of the defensive issues have just been miscommunication and just not being in the right spots, and you have to look at the safety position. They're just too many times out of position, not knowing where to go as far as coverage, not knowing where to go as far as where run defense, just being in the wrong spot, taking the wrong angle, not be able to make a play on the ball. I don't even know what that is. I think that's not even. I don't even know if he knows what football is right now, because he's just all over the place and usually in the wrong spot. McDougal has played okay, but he's not a difference maker. He's not a playmaker. Goals in coverage, tight ends that he shouldn't be beat by.
Yeah.
That's definitely a weakness that we need to address, especially coming up in this draft where safeties are going to be loaded. It's going to be strong in that position. So definitely a position that I think we will get better within the year. But again, it comes down to communication. It comes down to knowing the details of the defense, and we're still learning that. Again, I thought at times we played well defensively, especially this last game. I thought we really came on, probably played our best game defensively, especially in the first half. I thought the second half we were just tired because the defense has been on the field the whole game with our offense going 3 and out. So, and the offense has created most of the defensive problems, especially giving them short fields where, can't always stop them to field goals. So that's all I got to say on, as far as defense. I'll let Mark expand on that.
Yeah, like from what I saw last week, defense has improved a lot. I mean, yes, we all know my beef with the safeties. Like, I don't like both of them. McDougal is serviceable. I don't know why he's tackling the tight end before he even gets the ball out of his hand. But, I mean, the D-line, when healthy, as you said, when healthy, all of them are looking really good. Like, Golson getting pass rush now. He's always been a monster against the run. But now he's getting pass rush skills in there. Clinton McDonald, like, finally starting to show, like, what he is. Like, he's a monster. He's an animal. He'll just keep going nonstop. But he also got hurt at the end of that game, too, and he was out as well. So Lambert's in there even longer. Noah Spence, before he got hurt, he actually started that game. And he was doing well. He was doing really well. Every time I saw him, he was getting some edge or completely active. Yeah. He never gets stoned and, like, stopped. He's not thrown. He's a smaller defensive end, but he's not stoned and stopped in his tracks. So he's always consistently moving his hands, moving his legs, like, just trying to stay in the play. And I love that about him. And Oba's shoulder's all right. I mean, I didn't hear much about him, but McCoy, his is a calf strain. Depending on how bad it is, he may be able to play Monday. I mean, he walked out with a boot. It's just precautionary. He didn't look like he was limping with it, but they'll probably, knowing him, he's played with a torn rotator cuff. I think he's going to play. That's just me. He's a man. He wants to play. But with McCoy, McDonald, Golson, Spence, even Howard Jones is looking all right. He had the speed rush. I mean, besides the speed rush, he needs to keep learning. I mean, he's not a natural. He's not like from the SEC or anything. He's still learning on the go, but still he has the speed with him. And Lambert's pretty good against the run. He has no pass rush at all, but he does his job against the run.
Yeah.
The D-line looks all right when healthy, but when you're run all over, you're on the field nonstop because the offense is going nowhere, 3 and out, it's going to get run over. I mean, the first half we were stopping the run easy. That's what we're bread and butter. We're good against the run. We're giving up runs in the second half. Like, I mean, you can't stop them nonstop, especially when you're getting run over. And another thing about the defense, I heard on the radio, I think it was Brett Maxey, the safeties coach, was saying that our defense is run primarily by the linebackers. Everyone goes by what the linebackers say. So Quan and David see what they see, and they call it out to the D-line and to the safeties. So their communication is to the safeties and D-line. So the safeties know before the corners know. Supposedly the safeties are supposed to go tell the corners what the hell's going on. Obviously, there's a communication breakdown in there. So it's Conti and McDougal's fault for if the corners don't know what's going on. And that's probably why you always see the corners yelling at the safeties after the play. Because they're like, what the hell? You didn't tell me anything. What the hell am I supposed to do? So, yeah. I mean, I don't.
You know what? It's all about consistency. I'm not making excuses for anybody, but again, this is a first-year defensive coordinator. This is a brand new defense that's been implemented that's totally different than what you saw last season. This is something that I think will improve as the season wears on. And, you know, you just got to hope for players to not get injured more than anything and just keeping some kind of continuity for the next game.
I mean, I agree with that. Health is always the first issue. I mean, Robert Ayers, if he comes back, we can have so much of a more of a rotation. Look so much better of a defensive line if he comes back. Yes, Jack Smith, like, we wish we had him. I mean, that's a potential 10-sack guy. We've talked about this. And a freak off the line. Him and Spence would have been disgusting off the line. Yeah. But, I mean, we got to play with what we got. Next man up, right? Yep. So our D-line still has the potential to be really well. Our linebackers are amazing. You can't knock them. Yes, Levante David had one day where he didn't have a tackle, but that was the first ever in his career. I mean, he showed up after that. I mean, he's still Levante David. He's a Pro Bowler, should be every year. Quan is playing lights out. It's just I'm confident with the corners too. Everyone's talking about Grimes not being, take him out of the game. Who the hell are you going to put in? I mean, I'd have Grimes over Jude. I mean, Jude did pretty well in the slot, but I'll take Grimes all day.
I'm watching Grimes, and the plays that Grimes missed out on was because of a slick field or he lost his footing. It wasn't because of his lack of skill. The two plays that he allegedly got beat on, if you look, you see a big divot of grass going up in the air where he lost his footing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying it is what it is. And those are plays that if he's able to make them, he makes those plays. And I don't think that Brent Grimes is as bad as the fan base is making him out to be.
Oh, he's not.
I really don't. I'm glad to have him. I would take him over what we had last year anytime.
Oh, he's not at all. I mean, the first touchdown, who was it to? Sanders? Emmanuel Sanders?
Yeah.
I think it was. So, if you watch that play,
Thomas.
yeah. Was it Thomas?
Thomas, yeah.
So if you watch that play, it's a quick slant. It's right after the turnover, of course. And it's a quick slant. Grimes has his outside. Conti, if he steps up, he picks that off. Like, it's a quick slant. It's close in the end zone. That was what the best what cover 2 was. The shorter the field, the more chances we have to pick off the ball. And he's right in that little area. If he goes towards it and reads the play, I mean, it's a first starter, what is it, 4th starter ever? Read the first play. Read it. Go. Like, don't give him a chance to look around. Like, read that first and go. Like, Conti just gets caught up looking around. That's what I feel like. And he just is not a good safety. I'm sorry. He's proved it time after time. And it's always me yelling at him on the TV. I can't take it anymore. Grimes, he's trying. I mean, like, every time, at least he's in the play. Like, it's him jumping to try and swat it, and they just catch it over him. I mean, he is 5'9". I mean, against 6'2" sometimes. Like, there is going to be that little bit that's going to catch him at times, but that's only if it's a perfectly thrown ball. And he has no safety help. What the hell is he supposed to do? Like,
yeah.
And guys, go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
Yeah, the problem with Conti is hesitation. He just too much hesitation, not enough decisiveness in his play, and that's what usually costs him. He's just too late in his reaction skills, and you can't be late as a safety and be back there. You have to go with your instinct, and you got to go for it. There's no hesitation. You just can't have that. If you do, it's going to cost you, and it's cost him way too many times. Again, I think this comes back to him being a former corner, transferring to safety, where he spends too much time looking at the quarterback instead of reading what's around him, reading the play, and making a play on the football. That's what usually that hurts him.
Yeah, we saw that a lot last year. We saw a lot of the same thing. Now, I'm wondering if it's going to take some time for him to get out of the mindset from last year where everybody was scared to get put on the bench because if they made a mistake, they were being taken out of the game and put in a doghouse, and people weren't able to play as freely as they should have been able to. And that's something I saw last year where people were scared to make mistakes, and what it did would turn into big mistakes. And I think, like I said before, I think just over time, I think people are going to get a lot more comfortable with this defense, and I think Mike Smith will be able to do some things. I love this coaching staff, and I'm going to kind of segue into this a little bit. I love this coaching staff because they're taking responsibility for this. They're not blaming players. They're saying, okay, this is on me. I need to take care of this. I need to make better play calls. I need to put people in better positions to succeed, so on and so on. That's something that's very refreshing. We haven't seen that for a while, for some years. But that's something that's really good. And I feel like, as I mentioned earlier, if you can keep the coaching staff in place, I really do believe as players come in, the players that are already here will buy into the system, and it'll just be easier to build this team up to where you have a real solid rotation from top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. That's the key to any success is, I mean, you said it tonight, Gene. I mean, it's all about consistency. And unfortunately, this franchise just hasn't had any for the last 10 years. And it's one of the reasons why, this team hasn't been to the playoffs since 2007. We have to get that. And I think with this coaching staff, I believe in this coaching staff. I think they're the right fit for this team. I believe in Jason Light. Me and Mark always talk about Jason Light. I mean, the guy just knows talent. He knows what to look for. He's building this team in the right way as far as the draft goes. And to next year's draft, I mean, it fits our weaknesses perfectly, and that's what makes him one of the best. I mean, he knows when to take guys, and free agents coming up, and he just runs the team so smoothly. So that goes, I think we're in a great position from a management standpoint, from a head coach standpoint. But yeah, I mean, if we can keep this staff together, for a couple of years, I mean, this team is just going to get better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, any thoughts that you want to add on that?
Yeah, I wanted to say one little rant. Yeah, I agree with Mike. Like, our Jason Light, I believe fully with him. Like, every pick he's done, like, I either agree with it or I thought about it and I was like, okay, I can see why he did it. Like, everyone's hollering about, oh, we should have taken Sterling Shepard. We should have taken we need a wide receiver. What the hell are we doing? We should have taken Vision Jackson's shit, crap. I mean, Sterling Shepard was taken the pick right after Noah Spence. Like, they were acting like Robert Aguayo was taken right before Sterling Shepard. Oh, we wasted a pick on Roberto Aguayo. Are you serious? Like, Noah Spence was a need. Like, we literally needed a defensive end. And he was literally should have been a top 10, 15 pick if he doesn't do his drugs and get in trouble nonstop. But he hasn't been doing that. And he's starting to show the glimpses of what he can do. Sterling Shepard is the second man to Odell Beckham Jr. and almost Victor Cruz. He has people around him. He's not the center of attention. Everyone's getting so excited over this next big thing. Yes, I like Sterling Shepard coming out. I thought he was a great player coming out. And I wanted him. But I would have taken Noah Spence over Sterling Shepard 100%, especially when we have Evans, Vince Jackson, and Humphreys. I mean, we do need a receiver, yes, but not as much as we needed today. I said Sterling Shepard was a want. I wanted him, but we needed Noah Spence. And
all these people that are saying these things, none of them are general managers, okay?
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, Jason Light has done a good job. Even where we had lost that knucklehead Austin Seferian-Jenkins, and he ended up with the New York Jets. It is what it is. He's a talent. He had the goods. Oh, yeah. He has the goods to make it in the NFL. He just doesn't have it in between the ears right now. But I think that eventually that he will. And I've loved a lot of the picks that Jason Light has made since he's been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, just imagine if Jason Light hadn't picked up Charles Sims. What do we have at running back? There's a lot of examples of Kevin Pamfield. Doesn't pick up Kevin Pamfield. What do we have? There's a lot of examples.
Donovan Smith.
Right. A lot of examples of where he's made moves. And if you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at Mark Dominic. You look at some of the players that this guy has picked up that aren't even some of these guys aren't even in the league anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Jason Light has done a great job. He's an improvement over what we've had going all the way back to Rich McKay. And, I stand by that. I mean, you look at what John Gruden and Bruce Allen did. They did nothing really. A lot more turnovers.
They saved money, brought in veterans.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but, that's what a general manager is supposed to do is save money. I mean, a general manager that saves money and he brags about it, that's like a man that pays child support and he brags about it. You're supposed to do it. It's part of your job, So for me, what Jason Light is able to do with vetting players and getting the right players in here, I'm happy with what he's done, And what we have to do is buckle down and, this is going to be one of those seasons where we're going to have growing pains.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to add. You can't fix all your problems with one draft. That's another thing. Not even 2 drafts. Considering the player turnover that Tampa has had over the past decade, you definitely can. And another thing is usually the first 3 picks, those are the ones that you need to hit on. After that, the chances are that those guys are going to succeed are extremely low. So, the fact that he's hitting, I mean, give Roberto Aguayo a chance. Come on. There's so many history of other kickers, Adam Vinatieri and all these other kickers that have done bad their first year, and they get better. So, and he likes thinking he has the best kicker in all of college football history. So, give him a chance. Like, yes, I'm pissed at him, but you got to give time for your pick to actually show what the heck they can do.
Yeah, and I think Miko Grimes said it best. She doesn't look at draft pick. And listen, that's my girl right there. That's my girl.
Okay.
A lot of people may not like her, but she has a high football IQ. If you ever listen to her podcast, real high football IQ. But she always says that she doesn't care what a player does the first 2 years. She wants to see what they do after the third year and in the NFL to see if they've truly panned out. And that makes sense because you're learning the game. You're learning a lot of the nuances of the game. Case in point, Mike Evans. If you look at Mike Evans in the grand scheme of things, he just started playing football his senior year of high school. And then he only played a couple of years in college. Then he comes into the NFL and he goes over 1,000 yards. That's good. That's really good if you look at it that way. And everybody was upset and everybody was jumping out the window. Oh, Mike Evans is horrible because he had a bad season last year. But how many how many passes has he dropped this season? It's nothing. It's nothing compared to last season. Not even close. You're not even talking in the same department. So that's what I'm saying. You know, we have to give these players a chance to get to where they're going, and it's going to take time. It's genuinely going to take time because you've got a new head coach, new defensive coordinator, new coaching staff, new players, and everybody's trying to adjust to everything. So, you know, it just takes time. So, guys, what are you guys working on? Michael, I'm going to start with you. You've been the quiet one so far. And what kind of articles are you guys working on? And what are your expectations? We're at what are we at, the fourth game, going into the fifth game of the season? What are your expectations now? Let's totally forget about what we talked about preseason, going all the way up to now. We've got an idea of what this team is, what this team is capable of. What are your thoughts on this team moving forward throughout the season?
I mean, moving forward, I just want us to be competitive. I want us to be in games, and I think we have the talent to do so. Before the season started, I thought, this team could at least win 8 games, and I still believe that. I think we can be an 8-win team. But I think the key is just I want to see improvement. I just want to see us keep getting better, striving towards that ultimate goal that we want to get, which is the Super Bowl. But just taking steps towards becoming a consistent winning team, learning how to win. I think that is our biggest problem right now: learning how to win games, learning how to finish games. And I also want us to get back to being more balanced as an offense. I think we need to be more committed to the run. We can't have Jameis throwing more than, passes a game. We just got to find that commitment where almost like an identity, be true to what we're about and stay committed to that ball defensively and offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, what are your thoughts? And I'm going to ask you the same question. What do you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now moving forward? And any thoughts on, anything that you've seen in these first 4 games that they could possibly improve on to help them to win more games moving forward?
I mean, specifically what Mike said, it's learning to win a game. Like, it's not just Winston, it's Cutter too. Like, learning what plays to call, when to listen to your specific coach, clock management coach. I mean, he's always aggressive. I'll give him that. But, I mean, you don't always have to pass the ball, like Mike was saying. Like, run the ball, stay balanced. He did that in the first half. We're in the game. And then he gets away from it in the second half, and it's just chicken with its head cut off, just throwing the ball nonstop. I mean, you can't get away from your guns. You got to stay consistent, like you've been saying. Like, consistently drive the ball. Like, stop. You punt the ball out to them, you have a better chance of stopping them from the 20 than you do from the 50, the 40 on our side. I mean, just play the game how it's supposed to be played. Like, give your defense a chance to stop them too. I mean, yes, it's our weakness right now, but it's getting stronger with every game. Defense, just keep learning. I mean, the D-line looks good. Linebackers I'm really confident in. It's just the secondary, communication. Keep learning, keep gelling, keep, as you were saying again, consistency. Like, keep what you have right now because there's nothing better to get right now. You're not going to get anyone better. There's no draft. There's no free agency right now. It's what you have is what you have. Like, learn together, try and be the best unit you can be. And I believe they are. I mean, yes, it's cut down the dumb mistakes. And I told Mike this during the week, every week. The day we don't turn the ball over, I'm 100% we win a game. There's no doubt in my mind. Like,
and where are we at? Where's Tampa at? I'm sorry because I've been on vacation, but I'll be up to speed soon. Tampa has 10 turnovers. Is it 10 turnovers so far this season?
Negative 10. So it's like
11 turnovers, only 2 takeaways.
Yep.
Okay. See that needs to stop right now. I mean, that's something that I'm serious.
31st.
Yeah.
31st in the league.
Yeah, that needs to stop right now. I mean, there's no reason for this. And I'm sorry, that's something that a lot of that falls on Jameis Winston.
Oh yeah.
I know that somebody had mentioned on our, on the chat here that everything can't be put on Winston. No, but those critical turnovers can be put on Winston. If he's doing his check down, I know he's, they're talking about the offensive line needs to give Winston time. Yeah,
well,
I don't know. I think there have been a couple of plays where Winston has held the ball longer than he really needed to, and you got to get that ball out there. 1,000, 2,000.
Gene, let me interrupt real quick. I'm sorry. As far as the offensive line goes, this past game against the Broncos, Winston had time to throw the ball, especially in the first half. He had a decent pocket. I mean, Coach Cutter, said it best. He had decent time back there. But once you get down, 2 scores against this Broncos defense, especially with their front four, they're going to be just coming off the ball like no tomorrow. And that's tough to stop. I mean, Von Miller is one of the best defensive players in this game, probably the best player in the game. And then they have Shane Ray. So their front four was just humming after, being up 2 scores, and that's what good defenses do, all pass rushers. So they're going to make plays. As far as the offensive line has been probably our only strength on the offense this year so far. They're one of the reasons why we've had opportunities to put points up, but unfortunately, he's trying to force things when he doesn't need to. He's got to learn how to balance that aggressiveness versus conservative. Being to take the check down, knowing when to, hey, this is okay. I got to eat this ball. I got to take this sack. Let's punt. Let's let our defense play. That's the key, and that's how you learn how to win. And hasn't been able to do it so far this season. He did this last year. I mean, his rookie year, he went through the same thing as far as trying to force big plays, and he had a 4 interception day against the Panthers. Me and Mark were at that game, and that was sad to watch. But he went through this last year, and I think he's going to learn again, and hopefully he can get on a roll here. Post that. He's got to play team ball and let this defense, have a chance, and he's got to protect the football. And there's times where, you need to take that shot and you need to let it go and go let your playmakers get the ball. But you got to also trust your other teammates and know when to let the play die. Pretty much, you gotta let that play die. And sometimes that's his issue. He doesn't want to let the play go.
Yeah, and I want to kind of touch on some of the things I'm seeing here in the chat. Eric Moreno, shout out to Eric Moreno for watching the show. Thank you, sir. He was saying that J.R. Sweezy coming back would definitely help the run game. And he's talking about Kevin Pamphile is good. And, we've got a lot of good players on that offensive line. And how do you see J.R. Sweezy coming? Is he healthy? I haven't heard anything about him. I know that they've talked about him being at practice, but he hasn't actually participated. So I'm not sure where he is with that injury or if he's even going to be available this season.
Oh, Mike, you know.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, he can't start practicing till after the bye week. Even if he is healthy right now, just because of the way the pup list works. So, I mean, he can't practice yet. I mean, hopefully he's ready to go. I haven't heard anything as far as negative reports. I do expect Lewis Murphy to be back. I think he's going to be ready to go as far as after that bye week comes and goes. I think we will see Lewis Murphy back in the fold. Just because I heard, post season or before the season started, he was starting to run and do some routes and stuff like that. So I would expect him to be ready. But yeah, I mean, adding a guy like J.R. Sweezy would definitely, provide an impact to our ground game. Panfield to more of that sixth lineman role, but I think they'll probably keep Panfield where he is just because of the way the offensive line is gelling. But yeah, definitely it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Next question for you.
Gene, I wanted to add one more thing on that.
Go ahead.
Especially with people concerned about the running game. Okay, so pass blocking, they're doing pretty well. I mean, don't whine about Winston not having time. He has time. I mean, he has a nice clean pocket majority of the time, unless, like it was second half where they're just peeling away, coming at us. But majority of the running game, I mean, if you look at it, it's the corners where the tight ends are supposed to be there. I mean, I was talking about Brayton not being a good blocker. He isn't a good blocker at all. I mean, everyone's defending people. Stop defending people. Start looking black and white. What the hell is going on? Like, he's getting beat a lot. He's a great pass catcher, but he's not a good blocker. And he's getting pushed back, thrown to the side. I mean, he's not good at it. I mean, and then if you look at it also, ASJ, he was a good blocker. That's something he was pretty good at. He's not here no more. Luke Stalker, a damn good blocker. That's the reason why he was in the majority of the damn plays where we had last year. He's hurt. We have Alan Cross out there. He's an undrafted free agent trying to block, trying to fill him for a second-round pick, ASJ, who was a good blocker, and Luke Stalker, who that's what his main reason why he's on the damn team. And Brett Myers just got hurt too. So, I mean, we're injured. I mean, these are key players that are helping block, especially in the run game. I mean, yes, when we do that three tight end set and bring in other offensive linemen in, Charles Goddard, he did get beat bad on that 3rd and 1 where Charles Sims fumbled the ball. But so did Bray. Bray got easily beat, but so did that right side with Goddard. Like, the whole ends just gave way. I mean, it wasn't the middle push. It was just the ends got in so fast. And then Bray blocked our own offensive tackle. What the hell was he doing? Like, some of these, I'm like, it's X's and O's. Like,
yep.
Do your assignment, do your damn job, and you're going to get success. Like, it's that simple. Like, we have the athletes to beat people. Like, don't worry about.
You know what's interesting to watch? If you watched the 2000 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team and you watch each and every one of those players, they played in their assignment. They weren't trying to be on ESPN and make the big play. They were playing where they were told to play, and they were doing what they were supposed to do. And that right there, as simple as that sounds, that makes 10 times the world of difference. Make sure you're wrapping up and tackling like you're supposed to, and you should be good, And we're just not seeing that. But like I said, and you guys kind of alluded to it, I think it's still somewhat of a culture change that's needing to happen. I mean, when you've got over a decade of losing and, then you have a general manager that comes in, you have a coaching staff that comes in, a lot of that's not going to change overnight. I mean, I look at Cleveland and what Cleveland's going through right now, and they're going through something similar where it's just learning how to win, learning how to finish games, as you guys talked about. The one thing that was very frustrating for me was the lack of 3 and outs. That's the one thing that I talked about at the beginning of the season that you really have to expect from the defense is for them to get that other team off the field at 3rd down and get them to punt so that you can put your offense in a position to win. And we haven't seen that. So, it's something that, it's something that's going to have to be learned. It's something that's going to take time to get to. And, it's eventually going to happen. I really do believe, and I stand by what I said at the beginning of the season, the Bucs are trending in the right direction. And, I want to see them overcome adversity and win some games. Win some games that nobody thinks they're going to win, just to really help that locker room and help change the culture to a winning culture.
I agree. Fully agree. I mean, I hope Winston behind closed doors isn't just saying, "Oh, it's my fault, it's my fault." He's actually going to those people who he knows it's their fault and is confronting them. I mean, I know Quan Alexander is. I mean, he's said in the media just like people need to do their job. Straightforward, do your job. I'm doing my job, do yours. I mean, I love that about Quan Alexander. I mean, that's why I'm confident the defense is going to get better, especially the front seven. They have their two leaders in McCoy and Quan Alexander. I mean, that safety position, it needs something, but they got a front seven. They got some people to sit there and say, we're going to do our job.
You know, and I honestly believe that coming up, I think that the draft this year coming up will be heavy with wide receivers. And I think that Tampa can get a safety, just, you know, upgrading in some of your other positions that are, you know, before, you know, we were talking about some of the positions where Tampa was really had deficiencies in, and they went out and they got Vernon Hargraves. They've drafted Robinson and not Robinson.
Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith. There we go. They've gone out and they're trying to address these positions. And like you said, you can't address everything in one draft. But I think they've done a good job, and they've puts a lot of these guys in a position to succeed. So it's just going to take time. But, you know, like you said, there's no draft right now. There's no free agency or anything like that. This is what you have to work with, and this is what you have to go with. So these guys that are out here playing week in and week out need to find a way to win these games.
Agreed.
Yeah, right on. I mean, again, I think it just goes back to, you know, playing to our strengths, you know, eliminate our weaknesses, you know, just be consistent in who we are and who we want to be as far as a franchise. And there's, you know, people forget he's a first-year coach, so he's still learning as he's going here. And I think he'll continue to get better. I like his, you know, rapport with him and Jameis. I think they're on the same page as far as what they want to get accomplished. So, again, I think it just goes back to being balanced in offense. Defensively, I'm not worried because I think they have a great coach in Mike Smith. I think they're going to continue to get better, especially when you know, as far as the pieces that we're going to get back here shortly, especially in Robert Ayers. So I think there's positive outlook to look forward to. I think we're on the right, you know, path. Again, it's just finding that right spark and learning how to win these games, and I think we have the leadership in place to do so.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we've got a big game, very important game coming up on Monday. And, you know, I'm going to ask you guys, because this game is so important, I think that this is where you see whether the Bucs can overcome adversity or not. The Carolina Panthers, facing the Carolina Panthers, and they were a team that was picked to win the NFC South, and here we are. And Carolina has the same record as Tampa, if I'm not mistaken. A three-way tie with Tampa, Carolina, and the Saints right now, if I'm not mistaken. So what do you guys think are the keys to the game? I don't know who's playing. If it's going to be Anderson or if it's going to be Newton? I'll be furious if Derek Anderson beats this team again. I will go through the roof. And, you know, I may have alcohol poisoning from all the alcohol I'll be drinking, but I'll be pretty upset when it's all said and done about this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll go ahead and start. You know, the keys to the game are, you know, going to be the same every week for this team. I think, you know, I pretty much said it. You know, we have to maintain balance on offense, and we have to protect the football on offense. I think that is, you know, the two keys that are going to win us games going forward. You know, establish the run game, get Jameis comfortable. Again, Jameis, you know, you don't have to put it all on yourself, buddy. You know, use your teammates, believe in them, and take what's there. You know, trust this defense to make stops for you. You know, it's okay to punt the football. We have a great punter, so use them. You know when to let plays go. You know when to let plays die. You know, you don't have to throw the ball if no one's open. You know, take a sack or try to run for a few yards. It's okay. again, a balance and staying committed to that run game and use our playmakers that we have on this team. So I think that's the key, And then as far as defense, do what we've been doing as far as stopping the run. I mean, we're one of the best run defenses in this league. So continue to do that, make teams throw and get into some third and long situations, win on first and second down, and then attack the quarterback and try to get some takeaways. I think that is the key for the rest of the season. We have to get more takeaways.
Yeah. All right, Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Carolina, I mean, look at their corners. Like, just attack the corners, but do it safe like how Atlanta did. I mean, Atlanta's game plan, I was watching some of the game earlier. I mean, the first quarter, first half, or the first quarter maybe, then the corners are just so young and inexperienced they didn't know what to do. They were running comebacks for Julio Jones. And then what ended up happening? Deep bombs. Like, all day. Just let him run. He didn't even do a route. He was just running. Like, just you can easily dismantle these corners. Like, yes, they're going to stop the run. Their whole D-line's insane. Kuechly's going to be all over the place, but attack what their weakness is. I can't stress enough. X's and O's. Like, attack weaknesses. You got to know what their weaknesses is and attack it. I mean, there's no Josh Norman. There's Kirk Coleman's the only one I'm a little bit afraid of on their defense and secondary. Like, attack.
Benet Ben-Wickery is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean, compared to all the corners we've been facing, like, he's nothing compared to any of them. Like, every week we face a dominant corner, it feels like. It's either Trufant, Peterson, last week Talib. Like, there's always been one dominant guy. They don't have a dominant guy. I'll trust Winston's arm in this one. I mean, go ahead. Still don't get away from the run, but attack what you can attack. Like, and please game plan.
I mean, spread them out.
Yeah. And if Vincent Jackson doesn't get used, I'm going to be upset. I mean, this is a game where you can spread it around. There's weaknesses across their secondary. If you keep hitting Evans, I'm going to be upset. You can hit other people. I mean, that's my point.
Eric Moreno said, Mark, I bet the Panthers are wishing they still had Norman.
Oh, yeah, I bet they do.
For me, the key is Jameis Winston. This game runs through Jameis Winston. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning runs through Jameis Winston. He has to make good decisions. He has to be the guy that's not afraid to check the ball down and get, just keep the ball moving down the field. Keep that defense on the field and wear them down. You don't have to go for the home run. Home runs are for baseball, Let's keep this game to where there's no turnovers. Turnovers are that's what's killed us. I mean, especially on the short end of the field, that's really killed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because it was like giving points away. So, Jameis, I've got all the faith in the world in this guy. I really believe that he's going to get back in there and look at the game film and see what he's doing wrong, and he's going to correct that. I do expect to see improvement for him because he is our franchise quarterback, and you got to believe in him, You really do. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just say this. I mean, don't before it starts. And what I mean by that is, let's have a great week of preparation and let's go in there and get off to a fast start and be consistent. Don't come out and start again with the same things, turning the ball over or having a negative play. Let's start the game with positive plays and let's keep it moving in that right direction. So which you pretty much lose the game to start the game is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that we can look at, if we look at this football team as a whole with the injuries to Gerald McCoy, to errors, to some of the other players, Tampa really needs to lean on this offense. They've got some weapons that can stretch the field and put them in a position to score. So I think Dirk Cutter, being the offensive mind that he is, he really needs to lean on the offense a lot more. And, if the defense gets a stop, that's good. But, getting down the field and getting some kind of score every time is I know it's not realistic, but as much as possible, getting them to score it's very important to this team winning games.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And looks like from what Eric is telling me, Gerald McCoy has a calf strain.
Yeah.
And do we know if he's a go for Monday, or is it still wait and see right now?
Yeah, like a wait and see. I mean, calf strains, depending on how severe the strain is, knowing that he's played through a rotator cuff tear, rotator cuff tear to me is a lot harder to play through than a calf strain. I think he will play, but that's just me. He walked out in the boot, but he was walking. He wasn't limping.
Yeah.
A calf strain you can play with. They'll probably wrap it up and he'll probably play. That's my opinion, but he may not. But I think he will, just based on the guy he is and how he's played through other injuries.
Yeah, I have all the respect in the world for that guy. I separated my shoulder skiing one year, and it's the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And the fact that he played football against guys bigger than him, it speaks volumes about his character. You can't really say anything bad about him if he's playing through these injuries. And Eric, that's true. Hamstrings are the worst. Look at Doug Martin right now, who's sidelined because of a hamstring injury. So yeah, you're definitely right on that. Guys, here we are. It's 8:08. I gotta ask this question, and I think I talked with Michael before we started the show tonight, and I'm just gonna put this out here. There's a meme going around of the Kardashians, Khloe, Kylie Jenner, and Kim Kardashian, and it says, name a better trio, I'll wait. And below it, I posted a picture of Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and Warren Sapp. So I posted his picture. And I posted it. Everybody's liking the picture. And then somebody comes up and says, well, maybe they should get rid of Warren Sapp and put Rondé Barber up there. So, I'm like, really? Are you serious? And, so we had this debate going back and forth. And, I just kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on this, because Warren Sapp, in my opinion, was the heart and soul of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. I don't think I can't think of another player that made players around him better. I look at what Derek Brooks did. I look at what John Lynch was able to do. And you got to look up front and see all the pressure. Warren Sapp was the quarterback killer. And so when I heard that, I'm like, wow. This guy is really saying that he's comparing Rondé Barber's playing ability to Warren Sapp. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this, because I'm kind of like, I'm blown away by this,
Oh, can I start on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Warren Sapp. Who else can injure both Steve Young and Jerry Rice in the same damn game? It's take him out for the year. But that is Warren Sapp at his best. First of all, Hall of Famer, trash talker, just no, he wasn't a fan. He was a fan favorite on the field, not off the field. But still, he was
a jackass off the field.
Oh hell yeah! But he was one hell of a player. Mad respect from everyone in the NFL. No one ever took him for granted. He was 300 something pounds, but he could run a 4.6. What the hell was the most? He looked sloppy, but he could go. But him and Brooks were the heart and soul of this whole back then's culture change. Those were the main two. It's, as we were talking earlier, a D-line, a linebacker, and a safety. You have to have that three line, and those three were perfect from you. Warren Sapp is the man. There's Simeon Rice benefited from him. Simeon Rice was a freak of nature too, but if 99 isn't in the middle, whew, he has to get the single teams and monster season he has.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, because we talked about this before, you build a defense from the front to the back. If they're not getting pressure on the quarterback and the quarterback has time to scan the field, he can wait till a wide receiver gets open. A cornerback cannot cover a wide receiver for a long period of time. Eventually that wide receiver is going to get open.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this. I mean, Warren Sapp is the main reason Simeon Rice is going to be up for Hall of Fame consideration. I mean, Simeon Rice didn't have many, he had a few good seasons before he came to us, but once he got here, I mean, the guy exploded I mean, he's probably. I mean, Warren Sapp was. I mean, you said it best, Gene. He was the heart and soul of this defense. He's the reason Rondé Barber has the numbers that he put up. Year in, year out. Derek Brooks doesn't put up the numbers without Warren Sapp. Sapp was the key to everything in that defense. He was the key to, interceptions, everything, causing plays. He made Brooks who he was as far as a player. John Lynch, same thing. I mean, without that pressure up front, you don't have the stats that those guys picked up. I mean, you don't have Derek Brooks getting easy pick sixes going the other way, and Sapp leading the way, on those pick sixes. So, yeah. I mean, Warren Sapp, yeah, he was a dick off the field. He was a nice guy, but he was the man. I mean,
if you're a Buck fan and you lived in Tampa, everybody's got a Warren Sapp story. I personally think the guy's a jackass. I follow him on Twitter, but I don't ever interact with him. Yeah. But at the end of the day, what he did on the field was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy, he was the necessary piece to this defense, and he was the. I mean, he's the engine. He was the engine that made it go. I mean, just knew how to push guys, knew how to motivate guys, trash talker, pretty much made offense. He made offenses scared of him pretty much every time he lined up on the field. I mean, offensive line guards, they didn't want to go up against Warren Sapp because he pretty much dominated the whole game. I mean, the speed that guy.
4 quarters of domination, not just one or two that fade off and come up in the fourth. All 4 quarters.
Exactly, and when we needed a play the most, I mean, Warren Sapp was going to be right there making that play. Getting pressure when we needed pressure on the quarterback, and I can't say enough about the guy as far as a player. Can't put Rondé Barber in for Warren Sapp. I mean, come on, that's just a joke. I mean, yeah, Rondé Barber's twice the man that Warren Sapp is as far as off the field, but. Yeah, but on the field, I mean, Warren Sapp made Rondé Barber's career. I mean, he's the reason Barber had multi-interceptions. He's the reason Brian Kelly was one of the great Buck players as well.
And Donnie Abraham. Remember Donnie Abraham? Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of –
get out of here.
A lot of players have benefited from that. But I just thought that was interesting, and I just thought it was interesting that Rondé Barber was talked about, in replacing Warren Sapp. I didn't know. We'll leave that at that. No. Well, fellas, I really appreciate you getting on here. I'm not going to ask for any predictions on the game because I don't want to jinx it. I mean, we're doing bad enough as it is, and I don't want to be responsible for making it any worse. So it's going to be a good game. I'm glad football's here. It's fun to be a Bucs fan. It's kind of hard at times, but it's what we do, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
True. It is true.
So, Mark, I'm going to start with you. Let me get some parting words from you, and then go to Michael, and we'll get on up out of here.
I mean, as a Bucs fan, just expect effort, just competitiveness. Let's attack our weaknesses. Let's go after what we can. Attack the corners, check the weaknesses. Just please show them that we have competitive.
Uh-oh. I think we lost him.
Oh.
Michael.
Oh, lost Mark.
Yeah, we lost Mark.
Yeah, well, what Mark was saying, I mean, I think we just need to be I think we need to just show up and have some fight in this game. I mean, this is a big important game. It's a division game. You win this game before the bye, you go 2-3, and you have a favorable schedule after the bye. So I expect, some heart and some fight in this game, and I expect us to play our best football this coming Monday. So I would just look for that. And we're just going to continue to write about what we feel as far as the upcoming games, and just look for our analysis, and we're going to keep it real. truce here. I mean, we're just going to tell it like it is, and
Right,
yeah.
no sugarcoating.
Yeah, no sugarcoating. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game, I feel.
And for me, fans, please just be patient with this team. New head coach, new general manager. They're working on the culture change. Culture change does not happen overnight. Winning for some teams does not happen overnight, but I believe that we have the pieces in place to direct us to where we start winning. And please don't jump out the window and you see certain plays and you want to see players kicked off the team, or please just give this whole system a chance to work, and let's see what happens from there. Because as it stands right now, there's no draft. There's nothing else coming up. We have to go with what we've got. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know that they're capable of winning these games, and it just takes a little bit of effort from everybody on the team. It can't just be Jameis Winston. It has to be the defense getting this other team off the field, getting those 3 and outs. That's what we need to see, 3 and outs, not giving them a chance to get a first down and no costly penalties. So Tampa does have a chance to do some things. It's just going to take a little bit of effort and really buckling down to win these games. So for me, thank you for checking out the show. All the viewers, I appreciate it. Eric Moreno, P. Nash, anybody else that's responded. If I didn't respond back to you, I apologize. I'll get you on next time. And I want to thank everybody for tonight. Buc What You Heard. I'm glad to be back, glad to be watching football, and glad to have you guys checking us out. That's it for me. Peace out. Enjoy the game. Monday Night Football, Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Come on, let's win this, baby. Have a good one.